How do I do it? How do I go to? Okay.
I don't know.
No, this is taking me to an ad. Oh, your website is shit.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, how you doing?
It's great. I wanted to tell you happy birthday.
Oh, well, thank you. Happy birthday to you, too. Wait, it's not your birthday.
We should do a whole episode about that because we do that all the time. You know,
oh no,
like
I love that.
Like,
well, people do that. It's just, you go buy a movie ticket and they're like, enjoy the show, and you're like, you too. Yeah,
I will enjoy the show of ripping these tickets for people and scanning their phones. It's so much fun. It's what I do.
That's right.
But I hope you had a good birthday. Did you do anything interesting?
I played video games.
Oh, that's excellent.
That's all. Why not?
What video game kept your attention?
Well, I got to tell you right now, you inspired me with our special emergency episode. Sorry, I'm taking off my socks. That's what that sounded.
Yes.
Our special emergency episode about Street Fighter. I said in that episode, hey, I'm pretty good at Street Fighter. I'm quite good at it. And then, so that inspired me. I went and I've got Nintendo bucks and I got birthday money and stuff. And I bought the, it's overpriced, but I did it anyway because I'm crazy. I bought the Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers or something on Switch,
wow.
Which has like updated graphics. It's all fancy looking and sounds and stuff. And you can also play with people online because I'm like, I've only played with like friends and stuff in my life. And so I was
we're all terrible. And so,
yeah, well, exactly. And so I'm like, I want to know how good I am, like if I'm any good at all. And it turns out I'm not. I was just getting my ass kicked horribly. So I'm not good at Street Fighter.
I'm glad we've closed that thought. If you didn't know, we did have an emergency podcast episode.
Yeah, which you can
We
find.
did, and you can find on our website, matthatters.com.
That's right.
Or wherever you get your podcasts. And how badly did you lose?
Well, I did. There was one like total novice that I was winning against, and I did win a few rounds, and I held my own against a few people. Like I was actually surprised because the system ranks people, and it ranks like based on the characters they play. But these are just people that have like. You start out with a D ranking, and there's people that have like, I was playing against people that had like B and A rankings, and like some of them totally creamed me, but then there were a couple I was like holding my own against, and I'm like, I don't know like how this ranking system works because maybe it's not like the best metric of how good someone actually is.
Yeah.
But anyway. But there's also things about the game that like there were certain kinds of moves and things that I'm rusty for one, and there's like certain kinds of things I never really learned how to do. I sort of kept it simple for myself, so that's part of the reason I suck. But
well, I'm glad we've all discovered this together. I hope it continues to be fun.
Yeah, it will.
I have a follow up from our last real episode.
Yeah.
Which is that. We asked each other, we talked about times we mistook something for something else, and I got a comment from a listener telling me a story of that when that happened to her, and it's very funny, and I'm going to repeat it, which is that for her bat mitzvah, when she was young, she was like, 13-ish, 12-ish, she had this amazing, really cool party, and she really loved, and she gets to pick the food, of course, that she's going to have. So she picked like really fancy food. It's supposed to be a big deal. So she picked like this amazing like nacho guacamole bar, and she also picked this like amazing sushi bar right next to it.
Yeah.
And as the party was happening like a little bit later in the evening, and so it was pretty dark, and it turns out, when you make sushi, you have wasabi, which is this big green blob, and which she had a big bowl of. And then it turns out when you're having a big nacho bar, you also have a big green blob of guacamole. And several guests at the party mistook one for the other, and hijinks ensued.
Oh boy!
Not in the way. Yeah, they ingested large quantities of wasabi. Everyone was okay, but
yeah,
it wasn't funny.
They're like people that are allergic to something that. Yeah.
No. It wasn't. No one got hurt. It was just. Wasabi is invigorating if you don't expect it, especially. And these people were invigorated. That was a good. Isn't that a great story?
Yeah, I'm glad that we have an actual good story because ours were crappy from that episode.
Don't tell the audience that.
Shh, they know for themselves if they've heard it. What you heard at the beginning was the band The Bailers with their song "Hey, What's That Over There?" And it's kind of a weird song. It starts off their latest album, but the weird thing about it is that after the first chorus, the song just ends abruptly with the sound of instruments dropping to the floor and rapid footsteps fading into the distance. And then the rest of the album is just 43 minutes of silence. It's a strange album. And the weird thing is the silence is still broken up into 12 separate tracks. So
Right.
it's just... Although there is a secret track at the end... in which you can hear the sounds of a recording engineer in the control room waking up from a long nap and being very confused.
Right.
So I do recommend listening to the end, to the whole, 43 minutes.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I got to pick that one up.
Yeah, pick it up. Pick it up from Pandora.
No, from Tower Records, man. Your local Tower Records.
I prefer going to Circuit City myself.
It's back. No. Tower Records is back now. You don't understand. It's back.
Is it?
Yes, they exist again because people are really into the vinyl again because the world is ironic.
Right. Yes. The rustic vinyl.
Free range rustic vinyl.
Yes, they don't inject the vinyl with any antibiotics.
Growth hormone free.
No.
Vinyl.
Yeah. Although I haven't tried the vegan vinyl yet. From the there's Impossible Vinyl. Yeah, I heard there were some lawsuits against Burger King about the Impossible Vinyl.
Speaking
patties.
of, the Impossible Burger is delicious, just as an FYI.
I don't know about that.
Okay, we have to talk about that later. Anyway, so it is. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, we gotta, pick a topic here, but I wanted to. Did you hear that? It was like a freaking.
I did.
Like burp or something. No, but it's really terrible. I'm a disgusting pig. But so listen, I wanted to do something special first, actually, for St. Patty's Day. That's what the kids call it, because I call it St. Patrick's Day.
That's coming up soon, isn't it?
It is, and when this airs, it will be that day or like the day after. Yeah.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because we do this a week before.
Yeah.
That's a secret. Insider information. This isn't.
That's right.
This show isn't live. Sorry, folks.
This isn't live.
This is pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded podcast.
Bombshell. Yeah.
Oh, you won't even hear. Like, I don't even really notice the ADR.
Yeah. Well,
we're just. I mean, that's really the part that takes the longest, I think.
Yeah.
All the fix-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. My co-host is actually a totally different Matt, but he's just so terrible that I just replace all the audio with somebody else. But Luckily, I know a lot of Matts.
This actor, this Chris you pay, his name is Chris, actually, but he goes by Matt.
Well, I know a lot of Matts, so luckily I have a lot of backup. You're very replaceable because I know a lot of, I've got a lot of friends named Matt.
It's true. It's true.
No, I wanted to share a few limericks because limericks are fun.
Okay.
And there's so this also I wanted to write a new one for the show.
I only know one limerick.
Yeah, you know a good one. Actually.
I do. But it's only one. You've heard it already.
Well, you should say it. Oh.
No, you tell me your limericks because they're
funny.
Well,
so several years ago, I was binge watching Columbo, like everyone did in 2012.
Yeah.
And there was because it's a great show, and there is an episode of Columbo where that's full of limericks, and I was really inspired by these limericks. The episode is called "The Conspirators," and there was a couple of them that stuck in my mind, and I'm going to share those first. First one is, there once was a fella named Finnegan who escaped from a jail, so to sin again, he broke laws by the dozen, even stole from his cousin, so the jail he broke out of, he's in again. That's one.
Oh.
And then, yep. And then there's another one. A rare old bird is the pelican. His bill holds more than his belly can. He can take in his beak enough food for a week. I'm damned if I know how the hell he can.
That's good.
I really liked these, especially because of how they're like very advanced limericks because they're like 3-syllable rhymes, right?
Yes.
So I was inspired and I wrote 3 of my own, which took.
This is such a treat.
It actually took a long time for me to write these because I'm terrible and so because they're so tricky to because I wanted to make them good. So here goes.
I'm ready.
A grave robber swiped some papyrus, and he caught an incurable virus. He said, "Not sure what's worse, that I've wakened a curse or touched boogers as old as Osiris."
That's fine. That's a fine one. Good work.
Okay.
Good work.
Okay. I got that's one down. All right.
Okay.
Here's another one. A slave who'd forged many a saber once complained of the work to his neighbor. She said, "Suck it up, hun. This is 1301, and there ain't no Department of Labor."
The workers lament right there.
Yes.
In limerick
the
form.
medieval workers lament. And then last but not least, I think this is my favorite one. The model was told by the agency, "Kid, you'll make bigger waves than the raging sea." "But will my stardom hold," she asked, "when I am old?" And the agent said, "You'll have to age and see."
Oh, come on.
Come on. All right.
Oh, that was terrible.
No, that's the best one.
Oh, my gosh. Oh. No, the only limerick I know, which I will repeat for my list for the listeners, is there once was a man from Kent whose thing was so long that it bent. To save him the trouble, he bent it double. So instead of coming, he went.
Woohoo! Yep, you've told me that one, and it's fantastic.
It's a fantastic one. I heard it from my long ago friend Noah, and I don't know where he heard it from. I don't know if he made it up or if it was something he learned, but it's excellent. Excellent one.
Yes, it is. It is. So
your limericks were good, though. I liked it, too. Age and C, though, I feel like my wife would like that one. She loves bad puns.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you rhyme agency with agency. Woo!
It was, I feel a little bit
I mean, if you can't do puns in a limerick, where can you do them? Come on.
Yeah.
So, are we ready for the Mad Hat?
I think so. I think it's about time to do that Mad Hat thing.
Okay, we will do the Mad Hat, but first, this podcast was brought to you by Harper's Classic Cream Soda. Do you love the rich vanilla flavor of Harper's Classic Cream Soda? Well, Harper's just got a whole lot sweeter with our limited time Harper's Instant Win giveaway. Now through May 15th, select bottles of our classic cream soda will contain redeemable prizes from $500 cash to our grand prize of a 10-day trip for 2 to the Bahamas. And to really spice things up, a select number of our bottles will contain trace amounts of rat piss. At Harper's, we work hard to give our customers the most refreshing and exciting cream soda experience. So we consulted with the top minds in game design to help us raise the stakes to create the ultimate instant win enjoyment. Now, 1 in 10,000 bottles will contain the grand prize of 10 days of tropical island bliss in the Bahamas, while 2 in 10,000 bottles will contain a roughly thimble-sized amount of urine from a common sewer rat mixed into the beverage. You could be the lucky winner of a full tour of the Bahamas, including the crystal clear waters of the Abacos, the luscious greenery of the Andros, and the ultimate island hopping among the gorgeous Berry Islands. Or you could be the unlucky consumer of a refreshing beverage which, alas, contains a small volume of urine once belonging to a wild rodent which has deliberately been denied even a basic physical examination by a veterinarian. The grand prize winner will get to experience not only the lush beauty of the tropics, but also an enriching immersion in the Bahamian culture, like its unforgettable Caribbean cuisine or Nassau's electrifyingly colorful Junkanoo parades. The rat was discovered and captured by Gus, an employee at one of our manufacturing plants who, for reasons we don't quite understand, weirdly likes to try to find and capture sewer rats. And while we really don't know anything about rats, we're all pretty much agreed that this particular rat doesn't look totally well and may in fact have some manner of undetermined illness. There's no additional purchase necessary. Just enjoy the same refreshing great taste of Harper's and look under the cap to see if you're a winner. Or, alternatively, in the case of a blank cap, you may or may not be drinking a reasonably minuscule proportion of excrement from a 7-inch-long brown rat who is definitely balding in random spots and whose lazy eye, for some bizarre reason, seems to be neurologically related to the paw it keeps favoring. Just think. You could be enjoying a refreshing Harper's Classic Cream Soda while relaxing on one of the shimmering sandy beaches of Cat Island, though we admit that your chances of drinking rat piss are slightly higher, but still very, very low. And since Gus perversely volunteered to taste test one of the contaminated bottles, we can assure you that even contaminated Harper's doesn't taste anything like rat piss, though there is something that will probably taste slightly off about it that you won't be able to put your finger on. Then again, since we didn't have time for Gus to do an actual blind test, he could just be imagining it, you know? So hurry and pick up your instant win bottle of Harper's Classic Cream Soda while supplies last to see if you're the lucky winner of an all-expenses-paid 10-day trip to the Bahamas, or if you're maybe instead unlucky enough to drink just a tiny bit of cloudy, slightly orange-tinted sewer rat urine, which, while we're no experts, does seem to be kind of a weird way for urine to look. Harper's Classic Cream Soda. Same great taste? Well, probably. Almost certainly the same great taste, in fact.
Limit 1 prize per customer. Harper's is not responsible for any of the following circumstances experienced by participants of Harper's Instant Win Giveaway: delayed or canceled flights, overbooked hotels, lost or stolen luggage, paralysis, weather-related cancellation of activities, plague, jaundice, failure to redeem prize before deadline, tularemia, salmonellosis, rat bite fever, death, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, leptospirosis, lymphocytic choriomeningitis, and misplaced personal belongings.
I'm so glad that I'm going to go out and buy some bottles.
Yeah, you got to stock up because you got to increase your chances of getting the winning.
That's exactly right.
The winning bottle.
That reminds me of a real story though, about a friend of ours who did have to chase a cat around a food making facility that got in somehow, but maybe we'll share that. I'll share that story another day.
And perhaps. Cat does rhyme with rat, so that is a relevant story.
That's right.
Let's see. We got a Mad Hat here. I don't know. I didn't shuffle it very much before I had to cut corners. I ran out of time. But anyway, here's our Mad Hat topic for the day.
You didn't lick each piece of paper.
Right.
Like you usually do.
I seal the envelope. The topic is a book on your shelf.
Oh. Do you have a book on your shelf?
Do I even have a shelf? Not in here.
Do you own a book?
Let's see. I do. I don't own many books.
That's right.
I'm going to say a book on my shelf is Lives of a Cell by Lewis Thomas, which is one of my favorite books.
Give me a little update about it. I don't know anything about it. Give me a little summary.
Lewis Thomas was, he's no longer alive. I think he died in 1991 or something. But I believe he was dean of Harvard Medical School for a while. and I think back in the 70s he was, and he was a medical a person in medicine, like a big name in medicine, and he also wrote these regular essays back in the 70s, and I don't remember which publication he wrote them for. I'm sure we'll put this all in the show notes. But what's cool, there's a couple things that are cool about him. For one is that the essays he would write were not exclusively about medicine. They were about like biology more generally, but they were kind of, he was very into like poetry and classical music and also etymology. So like he just would like kind of ramble and muse on these interesting things that, so he was very kind of poetically written, but it was like mixed in with like all of this like biological jargon and stuff. And he seemed to be kind of he kind of had an overall almost like Gaia theory attitude or worldview, where he kind of viewed just symbiotic relationships in nature as being much more commonplace and much more interesting, and something more that we should focus on than like the idea of survival of the fittest and competitiveness and animals trying to kill each other all the time or whatever.
That's cool.
And the other really interesting thing about him is that he came of age, like he was like in medical school, like in the 20s or 30s or something. So he came of age as a doctor, as a medical doctor, right around the time when penicillin was discovered. And so he has this very interesting perspective on medicine, where he kind of has seen when medicine became like, he kind of compared like medicine pre-1930 to like alchemy before chemistry, where it was like a bunch of guesswork and a bunch of like goofy pseudoscience, trial and error stuff. And it turned into like a real disciplined science at a certain point. And so he also wrote a lot about like how medicine is this kind of younger science, but how rapidly it's progressed into something that's really efficient and effective.
Yeah, you might say that like humans are uniquely incentivized to make sure that medicine works well.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, but actually he also had these like, he said the reason, he believed that the reason medicine works so well nowadays is not because of incentivized research, but by like basic biological research. He was like a strong proponent of basic biologic research, which is difficult to like fund because nobody, people want a cure for this particular disease. And so it's like, targeted research. But he's like, we need to just like do research for research's sake, because he was saying that like in the 1800s, all the study people did, the basic biological research is what allowed us to understand microbial life and to understand about things like bacteria in general. And he said, we never would have discovered penicillin if we hadn't had that basic understanding as advanced as it was. So,
well, that's cool.
Anyway.
It sounds like a really awesome book.
Yeah, he had a lot of ideas that I could go into about things that just were really, really fascinating to me. It's kind of a unique perspective on everything.
Cool. I'm going to share the book on my shelf. I read the book not so long ago called The Murderbot Diaries by Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells.
Okay.
It's a science fiction book about a security protocol droid, a security droid who's a cyborg. So like there are biological parts and there are machine parts, but unlike many cyborg stories, he doesn't have like a human life. He was assembled and created as a cyborg. It wasn't like he was a human and slowly replaced parts, like RoboCop style.
I was going to say RoboCop, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just totally synthesized and is a cyborg.
Yeah.
He has no memory of anything but being a cyborg. And he's a sec unit, as they call one of the things that's great about this book is the author, she uses a lot of like really like militaristic terms to describe things in a way that is sort of funny. in a way that's very corporate and very sort of funny. Me working in a corporation. So so this robot is a sec unit, the security unit, and his job is to protect these people exploring a planet and these humans exploring a planet, and it turns out something weird is happening on the planet, and as a result, all sorts of bad things happen, and he has to protect the humans. But anyway, but sort of in his favor, he has some autonomy that he's not supposed to have. And he's no one knows that he is actually not just a robot programmed. He actually has like a whole secret life. And not even the humans he's trying to protect know that he has this secret life, and he has like all of these wishes and desires, and he likes watching soap operas on TV and whatever else. And he has none of, but no one else knows this about the robot. But through the plot of the novel, a very short novel, it turns out that it's revealed that this is revealed to the humans, and all sorts of exciting things happen. And I don't want to give it away, but it's a great book, and it made me think differently about these kinds of stories about robots and about humans and the relationship between them. It was really interesting. And I think in general, it always makes me think, whenever I read science fiction, especially ones where corporations are taking over in a kind of a cyberpunky way, it always makes me wonder about the future and about how powerful corporations are now. I
probably wouldn't like that book because I don't like historical biographies.
It's good. I think the whole book is like 100 pages. It's not. Yeah. It's not a long book. It is a short story. It is lovely. It has been well crafted, and it is a blast to read. And it's punchy. It's very punchy.
Yeah. Okay.
And in a good way.
Well, yeah. I don't. I prefer movies to books or whatever. Or it's funny. It's because especially like narrative kinds of books.
Yeah, I know, because you're basically illiterate. I understand.
I know, and I am from the Poland. I don't understand these books. Anyway, this English is difficult. So I was gonna say something. The books, books. Yeah, books are great. Books are great.
Why don't you like books? You should like books.
I don't know. My eyes glaze over. I just like. I prefer. When I read books, I prefer the non-narrative format, the expository or the persuasive or whatever. Just people. I prefer dry things, but I have to be interested in it. But it's even still, I don't finish books. I don't know. I just have no attention span because a book takes a long time. I can watch a movie for 2 hours, but books, I actually often compare them to video games because it takes like this number of hours to get through it in multiple sittings. And sometimes you have the same kind of feeling after you finish a good book and you finish a good video game. You're like, wow, I just went on this journey, whereas you don't really have that from a 2-hour movie. But I often don't finish video games either. Like I start things and I don't finish them. That's just true of me in general. I'm bored with this. See ya.
The end.
I was going to say, though, I do like, I love science fiction because I think it's like a really great way to illustrate or to create like some kind of allegories or analogies to things, important questions in life, important questions about people, about world problems. And to me, like the best kind of like art is the kind where there is some kind of I guess allegory. Like it's not, there's a straightforward story, and then you realize, oh wait, this is what this is really about. It's really about this underlying question and this underlying thing. And science fiction does such a good job of making that sort of coded, kind of multi-layered thing, which is really cool. And I'm a little resentful that science fiction is just not taken, has never been taken very seriously. It's always been thought of as like a niche interest. Or
Yeah,
something.
like not like a real literary genre.
Right. And
It's called genre. It's actually called genre fiction, meaning that like it's not worth talking about.
yeah, right. I don't understand like genre. Like people don't like genres. It's like genre just means type, and there's everything is a genre. Really, God, I don't know the name of this guy. He was some kind of there was a guy I watched like this seminar because I worked at this venue in New York City. And so I got to see some interesting sort of talks and events. And he had this kind of screenwriting seminar for screenwriters. He's this kind of famous guy, I think, in the industry. And he was this kind of like crotchety, grumpy man who was very entertaining because he'd like complain about things. But he also had this, maybe I'll find him and put him in the show notes. He complained about this, about people talking that way about movies. They're like, well, this is a genre film. He's like, everything is a genre film. Every drama is like either there's either like a redemption story or like a coming of age story or, like even within.
I was listening to like a video blog called Extra Credits where one of the old writers on the show, a guy named James Portnow, was talking about his definition of like what genre means. And I really like this definition. It has to do with what the user expects from the art, from the media, from the particular thing they're judging. So like you go to see a romance film because you the audience, you the viewer wants to experience the joy of a romance or whatever, or you go to a science fiction film because you're looking to see stories about science or stories about cool technology or something. And like you can classify movies based off of like the subjective desire of the audience or any art based off what the user is like, based on what the viewer is trying to get from the media. And I think that's a really good insight. And it really changed some things the way I thought about like what is a Western really? It's a Western. You have to have cowboy hats. There have to be like Plains Indians. You got to have like horses. But at the same time, like Firefly is like a wonderful Western show in many ways.
Yeah,
and it's,
well, you can
even though it's in space, because the space doesn't make it a space show. It's that like people who are watching Westerns might also like watching this sort of thing.
Yeah, there are definitely, you can have multiple genres in one work, right? And you often do. In fact, a lot of movies try to, in order to maximize their audience, they try to put multiple genres in every film. Even if it's an action movie, they have the hero and whatever. They have people get together. They have romance stories within there, right? So they have so they always do that. But that's good that you brought up this expectation thing of the audience, because this guy, now I really have to find him. This guy, I remember him saying the same thing about how he was talking about conventions, and he was actually making a distinction between conventions and cliches. And people always criticize movies for being conventional, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with conventions. He's like, cliches are bad. You should avoid cliches, but conventions are there as something that is familiar to the genre that the audience expects. So like in the example of a romantic comedy, there's the meet cute, which is the convention of this sort of cute scenario where the two characters meet for the first time. Mm-hmm. And every rom-com has to have a meet cute. Now, if you make it like at a laundromat or something, then it's a cliche, right? If it's a specific way they meet is something that's been done a million times, then it's a cliche. And so it's like the audience expects certain things, and you can subvert conventions, but if you're doing it for a specific reason with the specific knowledge that you're doing that, you make a movie that's straightforward and then you put like a twist at the end and it surprises the audience, you're doing it on purpose. But I like this idea of kind of judging art and entertainment based on working within the constraints of what is conventional and familiar, but adding a twist to make it new and surprising. And to me, that's like the best kind of entertainment, which is why I don't like art films or whatever, where it's so original that there is nothing that's familiar or relatable to the audience watching because they're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. So you have to a certain degree, you have to recognize it as a type of story that you've heard before, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a thing to read from the same author that I liked. I just mentioned Martha Wells.
Yeah.
I'm going to read a little bit of a short story that she submitted, put on to Wired magazine. I'm going to read it on the air, and you can tell me if you like it.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's not like I haven't thought about killing the humans since I hacked my governor module. But then I started exploring the company's servers and discovered hundreds of hours of downloadable entertainment media, and I figured, what's the hurry? I can always kill the humans after the next series ends. Even the humans think about killing the humans, especially here. I hate mines and mining, and humans who work in mining, and of all the stupid mines I can remember, I hate this stupid mine the most. But the humans hate it more. My risk assessment module predicts a 53% chance of a human-on-human massacre before the end of the contract. Knobface, Elaine said to Asa. You're not the supervisor. Maybe that percentage should have been higher, the way the 3 humans on the observation platform were fighting about the flow rate. Not that I cared. I was in the entertainment feed, watching episode 44 of The Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon, and monitoring ambient audio for keywords in the unlikely event that a human said something important. Those things make my insides creep. That was Sekai looking at me. Nobody likes sec units. Even I don't like us. We're part human, part bot constructs, and we make everybody nervous and uncomfortable. I didn't react. I'm in full armor, and I keep my visor opaque. Also, 98% of my attention was on the episode I was watching. The colony's solicitor's bodyguard and best friend had just been crushed under debris while trying to save a transport mech trapped in a crash. Were they really going to kill her off? That sucked. I didn't realize anything had happened on the platform until I heard a strangled yell. I ran back my video. Asa had turned abruptly and accidentally bumped into Sakai, knocking her off the platform. Great. I paused the episode and checked the monitoring drone down in the shaft. I couldn't get a visual, but I tracked the power signature of Sakai's suit. She bounced off the stabilizer wall, ouch, and hit a blade on the extractor housing. Gravity was lighter in the shaft, and there was a chance that the impacts hadn't. Yeah, she was moving. I isolated her comm signal and heard harsh, frightened breathing. She had 90 seconds before that blade moved and dumped her down to be incinerated in the collectors. That's the episode. That's the part I've read, and then there's more.
So that's from a different?
Yeah, but it's the same sort of series. It's like a very, very short prelude, if you will.
Yeah. Is this the same character?
Yeah, same character.
Yeah.
Who's awesome, right? Who's awesome.
Yeah,
I like that character.
It's interesting. It's like it's like a stream of consciousness thing. I mean,
sort of.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're hearing exactly what's inside the murder bot's head.
Right. Is that how the whole book is,
yes.
basically? It's like from,
yes.
Yeah, so in a stream of consciousness, whatever. And so it's like it's kind of like it's almost like a disgruntled worker thing.
Yes.
Like someone coming home from the day on the job was like, oh, God, this job sucks. And like, I just want to watch Netflix or whatever. And,
That's right.
but it's like some weird future version of that, and it's a cyborg, and there's some,
yes.
like, obviously I haven't read, it's like you're reading this small excerpt, so I'm not clear on, there's all these details of like how this world is, like the world building. I haven't,
there isn't
yet.
that world building in the books. Like it's only like very short, if there is any.
Yeah.
Like because the narrator, the murder bot, just assumes that you know this
right.
stuff. It's wonderful. It's a lovely stories.
It is. It's weird and cool and interesting. I think personally think that science fiction is more, a lot of the time is more, or has the potential to even be more meaningful as a genre. And like, I just wanted to mention, I read about Rod Serling. The creator of the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
That he kind of realized this, and he when he made his show, he knew that people didn't take science fiction seriously, that they thought of it as this kind of like escapist thing, that always this silly science fiction. And because of that, his show slipped under the radar more, and he was able to get away with a lot more like interesting, like satirical messages where he was kind of criticizing elements of society and all, doing all these. He had all these like interesting like ideas and messages that that he wouldn't have been able to get away with if he had done a kind of a more mainstream show or a more straightforward, non-fantastical show. And so because of that, you know, his show was more, I think, artistically, had more artistic merit than a lot of shows that weren't science fiction back then, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
I mean, it's great. I've watched an interview with him on the Mike Wallace show or whatever, and from 1950. And it's excellent. Would recommend you spending your time and listening to it. We'll also put that in the show notes. Man, so many good notes today.
I know we're gonna have a lot of show notes.
Hey, guess what?
What?
I went to the website, and we asked our listeners to answer the question of, is the Marble League a sport?
Yes.
You know
that's say? Right. What is I was going to ask, what are the results? How many people has anybody?
Six people have responded. Okay. It's 4-2. Yes to no. So the answer is yes, it is a sport, and I win.
Wait,
that's the important part.
You're lying. You have all. I have no way of knowing.
Go to the website. Go to the website. Just go to the website.
When I go to the website, it says you have already voted, and it won't show me. I gotta.
No, you click the results button.
Are they results now?
It says show me the results. Anyway, so now that that's established, I think we should put a different poll up, but I don't know what it should be.
Well,
maybe we should put a poll about that.
A poll about what?
What the poll should be next.
But then we'll only pick two things, and it'll be a yes or no answer. We'll pick one thing. We'll pick one thing.
This is perfect.
Should the poll be about this? Yes or no? And that'll be...
Anyway, is there anything else we have to do? I think that's that. Let's end it up. What are we going to listen to on the way out?
Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time, or you'll hear us next time, and we will not even have much proof that you exist. And,
that's right, as usual.
Yes. And to send you off here, you're listening to the band Sex in Numbers with their hit song, Babies, You're the Ones for Me. Well, two of them were us.
No. Don't say that. Don't say that.
You started it. You voted, and I was like, you can't vote. So I was like, screw this. I'm voting.